What is going on, Internet? This is JD coming at you with another video from Redskins Rant. Hail to the Redskins. Just kind of want to talk about football in general, not just the Redskins today. Kind of want to react a little bit to the game last night. So without further ado, I'll start with that. The AFC North. I'll tell you what, the Browns look like the best team. If the Browns would have started Baker Mayfield week 1, they would be 3-0 right now. There's no way Baker Mayfield doesn't torch that shitty secondary for the Steelers. There's no way that he doesn't torch there's no way Drew Brees gets out of that game with a three-point win. Baker Mayfield was he would have almost had a perfect game if it wasn't for some drops. He would have been 21 for 23 on completions if it wasn't for some drops. Let's see if I get that. So that helps a little bit. He'd have been 21 for 23 if he didn't have like 3 or 4 drops. That guy, he was amazing. I'm not going to lie to you. His passes look good. He has touch. My God, he had one to Callaway. He dropped it right in the guy's breadbasket, and the guy dropped. He put it right in the guy's breadbasket, and he drops it. God, he's got a cannon. He threw the ball hard. Like there's one guy just bounced off his chest. I guess just threw it too hard. You're not used to having a hard ball thrown to him like from what's his name? From Tyrod Taylor. Which Tyrod Taylor isn't horrible, but he's not. Baker Mayfield definitely showed that he's a better football player. He is by far the better quarterback. That's what I take away from that game. And Todd Haley, I said this at the beginning of the season. The Steelers are going to have some huge fall off and some huge ramifications from getting rid of their offensive coordinator. Todd Haley, you can say what you want about him. Todd Haley is I'm pinpointing this now, and I've said this for a couple weeks now. I've said it to friends. I live in Pittsburgh, so I've said it to other Pittsburgh people. He is the reason why the team has had a top 5 offense the last few years. You can say what you want. This is why they have turmoil. Ben Roethlisberger does not always go through his progressions properly. He doesn't. The offense that Todd Haley created is about timing, is about going through your reads and your progressions. And the reason why they bump heads is because Todd Haley has his receivers. It's a little hot here. Has his receivers run to the letter of the law, and plays are designed to get certain things open. There was a play last year where Antonio Brown freaking flipped over like a water cooler or something, and everyone flipped out on him. I'm like, dude, that's the play call. And Ben didn't even look his way. Seriously, he didn't even look his way. So, I mean, they're going to be okay offensively because they're super talented. They're a talented team. Ben Roethlisberger's not a bad quarterback. I don't think he's elite anymore. He's not a bad quarterback. You have Juju Smith-Schuster, solid. The guy named Carson, I think that's his name, who's replaced Le'Veon Bell because Le'Veon Bell hasn't showed up yet. And Le'Veon Bell isn't there. And obviously you have Antonio Brown, so they got a lot. And Jesse James is not a bad receiver either, or tight end either. So they got a lot of things on the team that are solid. It's just I really think the offensive coordinator held it all together. They don't have a good defense, and I really don't think Tomlin's as good a coach. Tomlin was handed a team that should have gone to at least two or three more Super Bowls than they've gone to, and they have nothing like that at all. They're not even sniffing it. They're not even close to the competition. It's just not even close. They are significantly worse than the Patriots. They're significantly worsely run than the Patriots. So on. So it's just so much about the Steelers right now. They're just internally just aren't good, and that has to fall on the coach. You got to be able to rope your guys in. You got to be able to have a little bit of control over the guys on your team. Okay, Cincinnati actually looks pretty good. Right now, they're technically winning their division because they have the best record. Ravens look pretty good. I don't think the Steelers are going to be. There's just too much turmoil. You don't hear about this stuff in all the other teams. You don't. You had a little bit of that with the Browns, and they got rid of their problem. So we shall see. We shall see. But my opinion is, Browns by far look like the best team in that division. They have a solid running game. They have a solid quarterback. Their receiving core's good. Their tight end's good. and their defense is stellar. It's just a stellar defense. Stick with the NFC. AFC. AFC West. AFC West, you have the Broncos. Broncos have a solid defense. Case Keenum's a solid quarterback. Not elite by any stretch of the imagination, but solid nonetheless. You have San Diego is 1-1. They're a solid team. That's a tough division, man. That is a tough division. That's one of the toughest divisions in the NFL. And then you have the Kansas City Chiefs who look like they could just they look like they're going to just put up points. They're going to just score a lot of points. They have so many weapons on that offense. They have a solid elite running back in Hunt. They have an elite receiver in Tyreek Hill. They have an elite tight end in Kelsey. They have a solid backup or second receiver in Sammy Watkins. They have other players, and their quarterback Patrick Mahomes. I understand. I'm starting to understand now why they got rid of Alex Smith. Alex Smith is a solid player, but if he's not throwing, he doesn't throw the ball like Patrick Mahomes. That guy can sling the football, and there's a reason why. There's straight up a reason why now. They got rid of him. I understand it. Denver, solid team. Raiders, I mean, they're 0-2 right now, so they look like the worst team in the division. But they straight away their best defensive player, so they got to adjust. They got to adjust to it. They should have one of the best offenses. You have solid receivers. I don't know why they're not good at this moment, but that's just a tough division. I don't know. I have no idea who's going to win that division. AFC East. Technically, the Dolphins are winning the division. I think the Bills are going to be the bottom feeders of the league this year. They're just not good. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have weapons. Sean McCoy. Deshaun McCoy. There we go, Deshaun McCoy. He should request a trade as soon as possible to get himself out of there. He needs to. He really does. He does need to be in that environment. He needs to be somewhere he can compete and, be on a contender, whatever you want to call it. There's teams that need running backs. The Redskins could use him for a year. Other teams could probably use him too. So there's no point in him being there. The team's it's purgatory. I understand why Richie Incognito quit. Vontae Davis quit at halftime, for God's sakes. Retired at halftime. I just didn't want to deal with the team. And I don't blame him. It's a bad team. I wouldn't want that to be on the team anymore either. The bad taste in my mouth. It's just not good watching that team, straight up. It's just not a good experience watching that team. It's not a good experience being on that team. The Jets, I think the Jets are going forward are going to be a solid team. They have a good quarterback now. Sam Darnold is actually pretty darn good. Todd Bowles is a really good coach. He's a defensive-minded coach, but he is a really solid coach. Dolphins, I don't know what the hell's going on with the Dolphins. They're good right now for some reason. Surprising me, but they're good right now. And like I said, I don't like the Dolphins, but they're looking pretty decent right now. So, and then the Patriots are the Patriots. So, they came against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville Jaguars are just a buzzsaw. That defense might be the best defense of this generation. Them and the Rams are the two best defenses in the league, and then you can follow that up with the Vikings. Speaking of which, let's go to the AFC South. AFC South, I think Jacksonville Jaguars are going to run away with this division. The Colts are okay. With Andrew Luck back, they're competitive, but they're not going to be. It's not going to be enough to overcome Jacksonville. Jacksonville is going to have a field day in that backfield. They're going to press cover. They're going to take away the run game, and they're going to do everything. They're going to eat that team alive. Titans, Marcus Mariota. I don't think he's what they expected. He's just not that good a player. The team's not that good. They lost their one of the best weapons in Delaney Walker, and the Texans are the only ones I think can actually compete because they have a solid defense, just like Jacksonville. They have a solid game, and Sammy Watkins is a really good player. Or not Sammy Watkins. Deshaun Watkins is a very solid player. And DeAndre Hopkins is an elite receiver. You can say what you want. He's elite. He hasn't had a consistently good quarterback his whole career, and he gets 1,000 yards every year. He's an elite receiver. So let's go to the NFC. NFC, we're in the South. Let's keep South. South is the biggest mindfuck I've seen yet this year. The NFC South has somehow flipped the script on what I thought it would be. I thought it'd be potentially 3 teams out of that division would make the playoffs, potentially. Which could still happen, but not the 3 teams we're talking about. Tampa Bay looks really good right now. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I never saw that coming. I didn't know he was the backup, to be honest. I probably would have put him a little higher on what I thought they would accomplish this year. But dang, they look good with him. I'm wondering what the hell Jameis Winston's smoking, or what he's doing as a quarterback, or he's not having this kind of explosion. They look on par with the. They look like they're the Chiefs' offense, for God's sakes. Those two are the 2 best offenses in the league right now. Are those 2 offenses? Straight up, those are the 2 best offenses in the league. They're explosive. They put up points. They're airing it out. There's a lot of things that are positive about those offenses, and wow, it amazes me. Atlanta's not as good as we thought. They can't score in the red zone. Their defense isn't bad. Can't score in the red zone. I never thought the Carolina Panthers were that good. Cam Newton is an okay player, but they don't have enough offensive weapons so that he can actually be as effective as he needs to be, or as he can be. Let me rephrase that. So that's like another example. Let me see here. Man, Drew Brees would be 0-2 right now if it wasn't for Baker Mayfield not starting week 2. I said it, and I don't know if I said it and I think I said it in this video, on this channel. I said it in another one. It was another driving video. I said it. I said I don't trust the Saints defense. They showed me a good defense for 1 year, and you got blitzed by Ryan Fitzpatrick, and you barely hung on to beat Tyrod Taylor. Sorry, there's just better quarterbacks in the NFL that are going to come through that team, and they're going to actually put up more points than that. Drew Brees has his handful this year. I like Drew Brees. I want Drew Brees to get another Super Bowl. I would not mind seeing Drew Brees get another Super Bowl. He's a Hall of Famer, first ballot. He is an elite quarterback. He's one of the best quarterbacks of this generation. Him and Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, those are the 4 elite quarterbacks, the tier 1 quarterbacks that we've had. I don't put Roethlisberger in that because he can't consistently stay healthy. He's never consistently got more than 4,000 passing yards. There's a lot of things I can say about that. Those are the 4 best quarterbacks that we've had in this current generation of football. And I just don't see them. I don't see that defense being good. You gave up that to a not good defense, not good offensive teams. There's a handful of not good offensive teams that just blitzed you. And I just don't trust it. I just don't trust it at all. NFC West, really right now it's the Rams and everyone else. I think the 49ers are good enough to make the playoffs. They're going to be good enough to compete. They might be on the outside looking in with like an 8-8 or 9-7 record. They're good enough to do it. They're not going to be good enough to beat the Rams though. The Rams are just too good. They have the best team in the league right now. Overall, offense and defense, everything combined, the best team in the league. They have the best defense. They added some really good pieces. Ndamukong Suh, along with Aaron Darnold. Oh my God! Thank God the Redskins don't play them. Oh wait, do they? I don't know. The Redskins might play them this year. I don't remember. I don't have the schedule in front of me. Just a lot of stuff going on with that team, and they have one of the best running backs in Todd Gurley. It's just a lot of things that are going to make that team extremely difficult to beat. And they're just, Jimmy Garoppolo can play as well as he wants. It's just, you're not going to be able to compensate for that good team. The 49ers are the second best team in the division, and they're miles away from where the Rams are right now. And don't get me started on the Seahawks or the Arizona Cardinals. They're both kind of train wrecks. Seahawks, I have a little bit more faith in because I trust Russell Wilson. He's a good enough player that he can compensate for a lot of things wrong with the team, but he's not going to be good enough to compensate to beat the Rams or whatever the case may be. So, NFC North is a really easy question to answer. NFC North, actually, that's a more difficult question. It's a 3-team race. The Bears have a solid defense. Quarterback's not bad. Solid running game, and they have a couple good receivers. They have the things that they need to actually, give them the chance to win. The Lions, I think, are just one of the worst teams in the NFL. And it's not that they're the worst team. I just don't think the first 2 games they weren't prepared. They straight up just were not prepared to play football. And that's the best way I can put it. They just were not prepared to play football. That's the problem. I don't know who Matt Patricia, like what his thought process is, but he does not have that team prepared to play football. Sorry for anyone who's a Matt Patricia fan or Lions fan. They're not prepared to play football. Matt Stafford is a decent quarterback, but he throws too many interceptions. He also, they've never had a running game. Pretty much the entire time he's been there, never had a running game. They had a running game one year. It was like some white guy from like North Dakota State or something, or South Dakota State or something like that. And it was like Varner or something like that. And that was the last time they had like a solid running game. It was in the playoffs, and they lost to Dallas Cowboys, and he actually had a pretty decent game. It's the last time they had a decent running back, but they haven't had a consistent 1,000 yard running back. They really haven't. So, NFC East. So NFC East, it's wide open. I have not seen a team right now like, oh my God, we're not going to beat that team. Eagles, we can beat the Eagles. We almost beat them last year, and I don't think they're as good as they were last year. We almost beat the Eagles last year. We have a better defensive line. I think we actually have a decent, much improved, like, overall receiving core. Offensive line's healthy, and we almost beat them last year. There's nothing on that team I've seen so far that says, oh my God, we're not going to win. Now, if offensive line plays like it did last week, yeah, we're going to lose because they have a good defensive line. But if we can actually give Alex Smith some opportunities to throw the football, I think we're going to have give ourselves a good chance to win, or at least be competitive in that game. Dallas, nothing I saw about Dallas excites me. Dak Prescott's not a good quarterback. I'm sorry, Dallas fans. You know, you can cry all you want. He's not a good quarterback. Okay? Ezekiel Elliott is a solid running back. And there's an adage that I heard a couple years ago from somebody saying that the offensive line doesn't make the running back makes the offensive line. Well, that's just bullshit. It's showing now. They've lost some key parts of that offensive line, and now you have players that are, you have an offensive line that's not quite as good. It's not quite as good as they've had in the past, and it's showing. Ezekiel Elliott's not as good. Dak Prescott's not as good. They don't have Des Bryant. That's another issue they're having. They don't have any good receivers. Tavon Austin's probably your best receiver, to be honest, right now. At least he's the most explosive. And, he got a touchdown last game, but they just don't utilize him enough. There's a lot of things about Dallas that there are too many question marks. Their defense, I think their defense is pretty legit. I think it's legit. I don't trust their secondary, though. That's where I'll say that I think they can be had, is if you can protect your quarterback and you can attack their secondary. That's your opportunity to actually beat the team. Giants are a hot train wreck. They can't protect their quarterback because they don't have a good offensive line. They can't run. Even though Saquon Barkley, everyone is like overreacting because he's like, he's only averaging 3 yards a game. The offensive line makes the running back. If you give him holes, he's got like a couple big gashes on teams, and he doesn't even have a good offensive line. Like, the offensive line he has is atrociously bad. Like, atrociously. It's so bad it's so sad how bad his offensive line is. It really just, it's disgusting. It really is. Just how bad that offensive line is. And then their defense is okay. The Giants' defense is okay. That's the only thing about their team that actually is pretty decent. But they're not very good. Then the last part, Eagles defensive line solid. The secondary on the Eagles is not very good. And I think that's where they can be had too. I think of this way: us and the Giants have the best secondary in our league, in our division. So that's where we're at right now with the Redskins in our division. The offense on the Eagles, I don't trust at all. I don't trust Nick Foles. I don't trust Carson Wentz's knee right now. I also don't think that they don't have a lot of weapons really. There's offensive weapons other than their Zach Ertz. He's pretty good. Their offensive weapon. They don't have an elite number one receiver that like really shifts the defense. But I'm not gonna get too much into anything else. All I want to say is I really was impressed with Baker Mayfield. He looked like the truth. He looked like a legit quarterback that can come in, get the job done, and he's gonna like. He got 245 yards in like 3 quarters, or like in like just like not that much time. Like I think it's games 4 15-minute quarters. He got 32 minutes, and 32 minutes got 245 yards. And he didn't look like he was having any kind of issue adjusting to the NFL game. He really didn't. He looked solid. So, that's my video. I just want to go over what's going on in the NFL. That's pretty much it. My prediction this week. The Redskins, I think Redskins have a pretty decent track record against Aaron Rodgers. We have a decent track record against Aaron Rodgers. If we stop the run game, we have to be able to stop the run game without blitzing. We got to make sure we have a scheme that, stops Aaron Rodgers from getting the ball out quick, and we just got to get after the quarterback. And we got to score. God, can we just put up more than 30 points a game? Can we just put up over 30 points in one game? For some reason, the Washington Redskins can't put up more than 30 points in a game. Couldn't do it with Kirk Cousins. Couldn't do it with Alex Smith. There's starting to be a trend here. It may not be either of those quarterbacks' issues. It may be coaching. I'm starting to lean that way. We'll find out. I'm not going to overreact to one game. Alex Smith, we still had a chance to win the game, and Jordan Reed fumbled it. We had 9 points, and I think it was 9-14 at one point. And we had an opportunity to win the game late if it wasn't for a fumble. So you don't know how that could have played out. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know how it would have played out for the Washington Redskins. If we'd have got to the red zone, Alex Smith was actually very solid in the red zone, could have scored, and it had been a 16-14 game, or maybe we go for 2 and make it 17-14, so it's a field goal. I don't know. I think we missed a field goal in that game too. What if we got that? Because then we could have been like, 12, and we would have been in field goal range. So you don't know how that could have played out. So there's a handful of things we could do that could just tweak that a little bit, and we'd have done better and won the game. So I think we'll do that this week. I don't think Greg Maness is going to not make adjustments this week. I really don't think he made any adjustments last week. Defense played well, but like I said, you played well. You still didn't make any adjustments. So, but that's my video. This is JD. Hail to the Redskins. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.